City. If you have a low-end PC or a low-end laptop and you struggle with FPS while playing Fortnite, GeForce Now could be the perfect solution for you. It's a cloud-based gaming service made by Nvidia that basically allows you to run most PC games on a virtual high-end PC instead of running the game on your local hardware. This is all done via remote servers where the video and audio outputs are streamed to your device in real time. And it doesn't matter which device you're on, may that be a PC, a laptop, smartphone or even a tablet, the service overall will essentially save you from hardware upgrades. It'll allow you to have smooth gameplay and it'll also reduce the download/storage the game takes on your PC. All it mainly requires is a stable internet connection, as that's pretty much essential for optimal performance, but I'll show you guys in a little bit how to optimize your internet. But to get the service, there's currently 3 different membership tiers. There's the free one, which we'll be using today. That gives you the basic rig and a 1-hour seems to be. Head over to Google, just click see right the closest looks to be. I don't recommend a tier like 2 the Force Now settings. What we're now going to I recommend update management Ethernet option. Google on you want, as for the want that off, that bad for you. Recently, quite a lot of players and pro players like Veno have posted on Twitter complaining about FPS stutters, so I thought I'd make a quick video, show and see, put it up in a system scan, straight will be up, as this is a piece like keep, scroll down, you will see micro state, mine's already put option, obviously on side where it can reduce your stutters for here, then in the game you will automatically update in itself of your stutter, really bad sound. Update one basically never know, so it's a really good idea.
The iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max could be the biggest upgrade to the iPhone in several years. And in this video, I want to talk about some of the latest leaks and rumors, some that we might not see, and also what to expect price-wise from the iPhone 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max that we will see officially unveiled in just a couple of months. So first off, let's start off hot with the price of the iPhone 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max, because for the first time since 2017, since the iPhone 10, we could be seeing a price increase in the US for the Pro iPhones. So if you remember, the iPhone 10 was priced at $999 in 2017, and there was a big uproar when Apple announced that price. But the good thing is they've kept the starting price of the Pro level iPhones at that same $999 ever since 2017, but that could be changing this year. So according to a Barclays analyst, he's expecting the iPhone 15 Pro to cost up to $100 more than the 14 Pro. Meanwhile, the 15 Pro Max could cost $100 to $200 more than the 14 Pro Max. And he does also mention that the pricing will remain similar for the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus models. And if that's true, that means that the iPhone 15 Pro will start at $1099 and the 15 Pro Max will start at $1299. And the reason the iPhone 15 Pro Max might see that $200 price jump instead of a $100 price jump like on the 15 Pro is because of the periscope lens. That is said to be exclusive to the Pro Max, at least for this year, and that could add up to $50 in costs for Apple. So they're gonna have to increase the price accordingly. Now on the flip side, something that's gonna be reducing with the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max is the size of the bezels. And that's because the 15 Pro Max will apparently break the record record for the thinnest bezels on a smartphone, beating out the 1.81mm bezels on the Xiaomi 13. And with this big reduction on the Pro models, we'll probably also see a minor reduction on the regular 15s as well, although it's not going to be near as apparent as on the Pro models. But that's not the only design change we're going to see, because we're also going to get a massive upgrade to the mute switch on the side of the iPhone. And it's not going to be a switch anymore. It's going to be replaced with a customizable action button like we have on the Apple Watch Ultra. And actually in the code of iOS 17 Beta 4, we saw references to what could be shortcuts for these actions on this iPhone 15 Pro button. So it's going to be a mute button, but it's going to double as an action button where you can customize the functionality. So according to the code in iOS 17, we might be able to choose from these options: accessibility, shortcuts, silent mode, camera, flashlight, focus, magnifier, translate, and voice memos. So you might be able to actually set that action button to open up or perform an action, based on those different categories, those different applications that we just heard, just by pressing on that side button, just like you can do on the Apple Watch Ultra, which I don't know about you guys, but if you have an Apple Watch Ultra, I don't really use the action button a lot. So I think it's going to be more useful on the iPhone, but I still think it may not be a massive feature that a lot of people are going to use. So we'll have to wait and see if this actually comes to fruition. I could see it being useful for launching the camera, although you can still do that just by pressing a button on your iPhone or just swiping over. So maybe for the flashlight, it could be useful. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but that could be a very interesting feature that gets added to the Pro level iPhones this year. But as far as the other buttons on the side of the iPhone, there was a rumor a while back where we saw that we could get like a combined volume switch where it's just one big capacitive button, and I don't think that's going to happen anymore. So the rumors have kind of dried up on that, and there really haven't been any reports of that coming anymore. So I would not count on capacitive buttons being on the side. I think the only change we're going to see over there is going to be that customizable action button. Now on the back of the iPhone 15 Pro is going to be the same triple camera setup, but this year we could be seeing all three sensors stacked, leading to more light coming in and also just overall better image quality because of these stacked sensors. But like I mentioned earlier, the big change here is going to come on the Pro Max, where we're going to see that periscope zoom lens. And this is going to improve the range of optical zoom to potentially 6x. Whereas right now on the 14 Pro Max, we only have a 3x optical zoom. So that could be a massive upgrade for optical zoom. And both models will also likely see an improvement to the LiDAR scanner, and I'd imagine that the lenses will also get a little bit larger just to let in even more light. And they're massive as they are right now on the 14 Pros, but it's probably going to get even bigger. We're also hearing that the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus might receive the 48 megapixel camera upgrade. So the lenses will likely be smaller than they are on the Pro models, but they are going to have that 48 megapixel capability and the ability to shoot in RAW. Now, a big design change coming to the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max is one that we've heard about for a while now, but I'm really excited for it, and that is a titanium frame. So instead of stainless steel, we're now going to be transitioning to titanium, again, just like we have on the Apple Watch Ultra. It seems like Apple is kind of getting inspiration for the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max from the Apple Watch Ultra that we saw last year. So this titanium body is going to allow for more durability, so it should survive drops even better, and also for rounder edges. So we might not see as much of a point on the corners of the iPhone. It might be a little bit more rounded off than we saw with the 14 Pro series. So the number one iPhone rumor every single year that so many people just throw in their guesses on is the color, the exclusive color for the iPhone 15 Pro this year. Of course, everybody said red at first. Every year, I feel like we hear red iPhone 15 Pro, or we heard it back in like iPhone 12 Pro is going to be red. We've heard it every year, so I'm not buying that we're going to see a red iPhone, although 9to5Mac is saying that a red iPhone 15 Pro could be coming based on their sources. According to their sources, they even have mock-ups done right here. However, on the flip side, Mac rumors and other sources are saying there's no such thing as red. It's going to be a blue with like a gray undertone. That's going to be the exclusive color for the 15 Pro and Pro Max this year. So let me know in a comment down below, would you rather see a red iPhone 15 Pro Max or a grayish blue iPhone 15 Pro Max? Let me know what you think. I feel like we've had too many blue exclusive colors for the iPhone recently, and we've not had one red. So I would like to see red, but again, we've heard that every year, so I'm not going to get my hopes up again for that. And then of course, coming to the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max is going to be the A17 Bionic chip. And this is going to be the first chip built on a 3nm process, which should result in major performance and major efficiency improvements over the 5nm process, which was used for the A14, the A15, and the A16 chips. So this should be a solid improvement. Even if nothing else changes, this should make a big difference in performance and battery life. Now, speaking of battery life, we did see an early rumor about the batteries increasing, like the capacity, the overall size of the batteries increasing quite a bit, but that rumor was kind of sketchy, and I don't want to put too much into that, so I will mention these stats really quickly, but take this with a major grain of salt because we've really only heard it from this one source who's not super reliable. So he says for the 15 Pro, we could see a 3650 milliamp hour battery, which is compared to 3200 milliamp hours on the 14 Pro, and then on the 15 Pro Max, a 4852 milliamp hour battery compared to a 4323 on the 14 Pro Max. So again, that's probably the least likely rumor out of anything we mentioned on the 14 Pro Max. So again, that's probably the least likely rumor out of anything we mentioned in this video to come true, but I wanted to mention that just in case it somehow happens to come true. And let me just say that if we do actually get those bigger batteries with the A17 Bionic chip, that's going to be insane. Like, we're going to get at least 1 day battery life on the 15 Pro Max. We're probably going to get up to a day and a half, maybe 2 days. That could be another thing Apple is drawing inspiration from the Apple Watch Ultra for. So we'll have to wait and see. But again, don't really count on that. And then finally, the rumor that everybody's heard about and that everybody's talked about really since last year, USB-C. So it looks like the Lightning port on all iPhone 15 models is going to be switched over to USB-C. This could be great for those who transfer files a lot, so the transfer speed should be improved with USB-C, but more importantly, it's going to just open up a world of flexibility and just being able to carry one cable with you to charge everything. So I think that's the number one thing people are looking forward to with USB-C is that you won't need a bunch of different chargers and adapters. Everything will just work. So there you have it. That is the latest on the iPhone 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max. This year is actually shaping up to be pretty exciting. I mean, a lot more exciting than I originally was expecting. So I think the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max could even be a big upgrade over the 14 Pro and Pro Max. I'm not saying to go out and upgrade to them, but I'm just saying that if the A17 Bionic chip is all it's hyped up to be, with the USB-C, and if we get the titanium frame, if we have that periscope lens, I mean, we're noticing some major changes there that are going to be a big deal. Especially if you have a pro level iPhone, you're going to care about those very small but very specific things that actually make a difference in your day-to-day life. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully all these
where we can lay low. But my hands are all messed up, so you better drive, brother.
the other day on stream, something very interesting happened. Basically, somebody asked me a simple question that has been on my mind ever since. They asked me very directly, Luke, do you think there are any games out there that people hate on just because they like hating on it? And it got me thinking, are there any games that just don't get a fair shot simply because they're from a developer people don't like, or because there's some scandal going on next to them, or because of the graphics or some story element? And all of that is obviously true for some games. We could point to The Last of Us Part 2 as an example of a game that gets a ton of hate for story leaks that didn't end up being completely true. Or a game like Watch Dogs, which got a ton of hate because it had massive graphical downgrades, even though it was still a pretty good game. Or even a mobile game like Diablo Immortal, which is an impressive game by itself, but is so overridden with microtransactions that few people will end up giving the game itself a fair shake just because management was so greedy. But time and time again, there's one common thread with many of these examples of games that don't get a fair shot, and that is the publisher and developer. And unfortunately, a lot of them are made by Ubisoft. Don't get me wrong, Ubisoft has done their fair share of crap. They certainly deserve a lot of the hate that they receive, at least in my opinion. Everything from management to the pricing structures to the crazy microtransactions and cosmetic crap and the way that they just like put out bloated piles of garbage and then hope something sticks. I get it. I'm no like Ubisoft sycophant. I mean, I made a dedicated 3-hour critique on Assassin's Creed Valhalla where I called the game an actual travesty. So for anybody who thinks I'm just like fanboying over here, just understand I dish it out as well as I take it. But that brings me to the central point of this video. I'm getting distracted, I'm sorry. And that is a game that I think has not gotten a fair shake, that many people hate on even though they haven't played it, just because they heard some YouTubers ranting and raving against it. And it's a game I really think you should give a shot if you haven't already, because I find many parts of it downright phenomenal. And of course, I'm talking about Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Now, one of the more interesting things about Assassin's Creed Odyssey is that Ubisoft for years has been accused of not wanting to give Assassin's Creed as a franchise the chance to be helmed by a woman. They just haven't wanted to do it. Long story short, we found out there were some very sexist people in upper management over at Ubisoft. It makes a lot of sense now. Basically, they didn't think a woman could do that and then still sell copies of games, which is really rich. So interestingly enough, their choice was to, instead of just making a female protagonist, they decided to do both. So you can choose between Cassandra and Alexios. They are fully voiced. You can go through the entire game as either. I've played the game through with each one of these. In my humble opinion, I think Cassandra is just better. It's just a better performance. Alexios sounds like he's gargling marbles most of the time, and Cassandra has been acknowledged as the canon or canonical choice. So as far as the lore is concerned, Cassandra is the actual protagonist. So might as well just play with her. That's at least my opinion. And boom, just like that, we are in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Kefalonia Island, 431 BC. From the outset, first impressions, the game is freaking gorgeous. Even now, what, like 3-4 years after its launch, it's impressively beautiful. It is expansive, and it has one of the most bafflingly large maps of any game in recent memory. It really is remarkable. They fly through here, show you some landscapes. Oh, he caught a fish. Beautiful. Oh, and he drops it. Oops. Oof. Old ruins, which is crazy, like 431 BC or whatever year I said. Like, that's ancient to us. But two people in Greece, in ancient Greece, there were things that were still ancient to them, and in some cases even more ancient to them than they are to us, which is just baffling. It makes you appreciate humans just in general. And then we come up on Cassandra, and this is where we meet our leading lady. She's so great. She's so great. Like, I'm just saying, choosing Cassandra for your run of the game is the best way to go, for sure. What a way to start. Hey, shitface, get down here. They get introduced. I gotta say, this is one of the more impressive openings to the game that that I think Assassin's Creed has had in a while. Even like Assassin's Creed Origins started kind of clunkily. This game just gets right to it, and it works really, really well. I actually really like this intro. Then we do some parry, we slash, slash, slash. The combat system also doesn't get enough love. Like, this thing is actually fairly robust. It's pretty zippy. There's a lot of fluidity, but in general, I think it works really, really well. It's responsive. There are tons of different weapon types that you can choose from, and also countless abilities that you can unlock and discover as you play through the game, which makes it so everybody's version of Cassandra will feel relatively different. It's a far cry from Assassin's Creed of old, for sure. It's much more Witcher 3-like than any of those other games, but it still works really, really well. And I think this is an important thing to note as well about Assassin's Creed Odyssey that's just important for us to discuss while this little bit plays. So Assassin's Creed had an identity crisis around 2014, 2015, basically right around the time Assassin's Creed Unity came out, and had all sorts of problems. Makes sense because that game was a bit of a train wreck, but still. As a result, in 2015, when The Witcher 3 came out, Ubisoft saw that and was like, hey, everybody loves The Witcher 3. We should do that. Why don't we just do that? So they decided to start work on the next huge installment of Assassin's Creed, where they would try to learn from The Witcher 3. And they actually did a half-decent job of it. In Assassin's Creed Odyssey, we have dialogue choices where you can choose, of course, generalized dialogue options, which allow for branching possibilities. There are more branching possibilities for the narrative in Assassin's Creed Odyssey than there are in The Witcher 3, which for some people doesn't matter because The Witcher 3 is much more linear. It's more of a narrative experience that's finely crafted. It's not about the branching choices, but there are countless things that you can do in Assassin's Creed Odyssey that are very, very impressive. You do one thing over here and it has ripple effects hours down the line. I'll show you one of them in just a minute that I talk about all the time on this channel because I think it's very important to note. Now we have access to the open world, and one of the first things I want you to notice is the task that's been given to us. So you see in the top left, so it begins, find and talk to Marcos. Marcos bought a new vineyard in Kefalonia, and he is in the southern part of Mount Ainos. One of the things they did in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which I find freakishly impressive and very compelling, is that they took away the standard Ubisoft guided markers that just hold your hand all the way across the place. Instead, they tell you a generalized area of where you need to go, just like it would be communicated in dialogue. And in many cases, that's how you find out where these places are. Hey, he lives on this island and he's over here on the south side of the mountain. Go find him. He's over there. You'll find him. And so that's the information you're given. It doesn't magically tell you exactly where to go. It gives you the generalized area, and then you look, oh, Mount Ainos. He's in the southern part of Mount Ainos, as we see there. So we'll head over here. I still think that Ubisoft could get rid of these markers just like this. You can hide them, and I think that that works way, way better. Because let's be real. If we're looking at this map, and then we say, okay, South Mount Ainos, we see an undiscovered location there. We know that that's where he's going to be. So it's not as hidden as it might initially sound like. So if you just hid these and then you explored, it would be much more interesting because you would go and you'd explore the whole south side of the mountain and you would end up in the right place, but it wouldn't feel as though you were having your hand held that little bit extra. So if I were you, I would just turn off that particular notifier or only turn on the historical points of interest. As though Assassin's Creed Origins was the proof of concept that ripple through the rest of the world and the rest of the games. Focus on broad quantity. Don't want to deal with it anymore, and there's just too many people chasing you no matter where you are.
So a few weeks ago, I ranked every protagonist's signature outfit, and I saw quite a few comments asking
checks, I know what's next. While with my head down, little bitch just got checked with the connected like the rest now. Resurrect the check up on my set, let's place a bed now.
I don't give a fuck, man, the drink's on me. Roll another blunt, then I pop another bean. Pop up to your spot with the Getty in the green. I don't really fucking want it if it's coming easily. Bitch, I pack that fucking blunt and smoke it, killing all the trees. Bitch, get on your knees, bitch, get back or SMD. I'm officially a G, and I'm fishing for the cheese. Let me squeeze, flipping keys. Told that bitch that I'll be back in a week. I don't give a fuck, man, the drink's on me. I don't give a fuck if I really make a scene. Bitch, I'm fly like Bumblebee, and you ain't my cup of tea. Bitch, I'm cold like on the sea, tripping off this LSD. Bitch, I'm really just G-O-O-D-G-O. I don't give a fuck, man, the drink's on me. Roll another blunt, then I pop another bean. Pop up to your spot with the Getty in the green. I don't really fucking want it if it's coming easily. Bitch, I pack that fucking blunt and smoke it, killing all the trees. Bitch, get on your knees, bitch, get back or SMD. I'm officially a G, and I'm fishing for the cheese. Let me squeeze, flipping keys. Told that bitch that I'll be back in a week.
Hold up, roll up, bitch, I'm hellbound. Back collecting checks, I know what's next. While with my head down, little bitch just got checked with the connected like the rest now. Resurrect the check up on my set, let's place a bed now.
Let's roll.
Give it a couple more times.
Hello.
Yo, what's up?
Yo.
I'm watching long.
No, I'm stupid. One is 40, one left. Behind you. Yeah.
Yo! Mother. I'll go drop.
Let's go.
I'm not buying.
One here.
7 HP, 7, nice.
Easy one. Wanna drop?
Let's go.
Second here. Drop.
Grenade out.
No.
Let's move out.
Info. Yeah, we'll watch long.
Let's go.
Sorry, bro. City.
Info.
City one.
Serious არსება მოსაშუალო.
Can drop.
Lock and load.
Half HP. ეს სრი მოგთხრის ბიჭო, ესეთი ყალე მოგთხრის ნერვებს და მე ითამაში. უცნაურს 5000 საათია თამაში.
Move it. Flashbang.
Half HP. Qalea, короче. Rush drop.
We must move.
Oh shit, Leo. Half HP. Sirriha.
Forward.
Yo, wake up. Yo, wake up.
Stairs.
Let's go. Let's go. Flashback. Throw in the flashback. Activating the bomb. Bomb has been. Let's go, my brothers. Flashback. Let's throw in the flashback.
Push. Drop now. Behind you.
He's rushing.
Let's throw in the flashback.
ჭრები და ამწახანერდების სირების ხელში ვეღარ სისულებას შევდები. კალე არსებობს.
Go, go, go.
შემეცი ბარენა.
Together we can do this.
You jerking or what, bro? Wake up. Kalishuli.
all right, Master?
Drog daჭირა იყო შიკიც.
For now, my course is unchanged.
Yes, Arisen.
Eagle X D.
Yes, Arisen.
Yes, Arisen. Yes, Arisen. I am honored to travel with you. Response is most at ease near a rhythm step. For now, my course, if there is all that. If there is aught, then pray, take. My hope, I shall. For now, my course is unchanged. If there is aught I can do, say. If there is aught I can do, say it. If there is aught I can do, say. For now, my course is unchanged. I shall. Sir, I would take you. Linger in the water over long, and the line may crumble.
Very well.
I'm on my way.
There may be aught here. Let me see.
This is a place quite restful.